Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 7 of distance learning. This week, we're going to be focusing on 4.02 and 4.03. You will have a lesson and then an assignment to submit, and then you're going to have another lesson and a quiz. So let's take a look at the first one, 4.02, another view. Can you believe that it is already week 7? These weeks are flying by. All right, so your assignment at the end of this lesson, you will complete a chart analyzing 2 articles on the same topic. Slide 2 is your objective. So you're going to be able to analyze 2 texts exploring the same topic, identify evidence, describe the tone, and provide examples. Slide 3 is just going to talk about taking a closer look, how scientists take a closer look. You do the same with your writing or reading. Slide 4 is going to be an interactive slide, and it's going to show how people can have different evidence on the same opinion. So these 3 girls agree that this is the best band ever, but they're all going to have 3 different reasons why. So this girl says the lyrics are so beautiful. That's why she believes they're the best band ever. This one thinks because the singers are so cute. And then she says, no, their music is catchy. So they all have 3 different reasons why this is the best band ever. So they all have the same opinion, but they have different evidence to back up their opinion. Slide 5 is going to be an interactive slide. And so it's going to provide you with a topic, 2 sources, and 3 evidence. And there are 6 interactive slides to go through. And it's going to show you how to do a comparison chart. I would take a look at this because you will have to do something very similar. Slide 6 is going to be analyzing the evidence, and it's going to introduce you to the author's tone. Now remember, the tone is the author's attitude towards the subject. So when they are writing and providing their evidence, they can do it in a comical, informative, straightforward. They may be passionate. They may be emotional. Okay, they may be angry, they may be very excited. Those are all types of tones or attitudes that the author may have. Slide 7, if it'll ever pop up, it's just going to show you some words to describe the author's tone. So go through these 3 slides. Slide 8 is going to be your recap or your review. So we're going to look at how similar opinions can be expressed in different ways by the authors presenting different evidence and having different tones or attitudes. And so slide 9 is going to be your assignment. So you're going to read this lesson, finish those interactive slides, and read the instructions. So your instructions are to select 4.02 another view. And we're going to click that in just a minute because that's going to be your assignment. So you're going to read the 2 articles in the worksheet given. And so you have 2 tasks. The first task is to complete the compare and contrast graphic organizer. And then task 2 is going to be selecting one of the articles and writing a short response about the author's tone and word choice. So you're going to look at the types of words they use and figure out what kind of attitude that they have, and you're going to write a short reflection. All right, so let's take a look at 4.02. So here are the directions again to read both articles and complete both tasks. Task 1, fill out the compare and contrast chart. Task 2 is to complete the paragraph on tone. So we have our first article, How Liftoffs Lift Our Spirits by Miranda Sharon. And so she's going to have her own opinion on America's space program, and she's going to have her evidence, and she's going to have a certain attitude towards how she feels. Article 2 is going to have the same exact opinion, but they're going to provide different evidence, and they're going to have a different tone. So Article 2, The Sky Has No Limits by Roger T. Reynolds. And he's going to also be talking about the space program and have the same opinion as Miranda, but he's going to provide you with different evidence and have a different attitude. So for your task 1, the topic is America's space program. Source 1 is Miranda's article. Source 2 is going to be Roger's article. Okay. Then you're going to provide evidence for each one. So what is the first piece of evidence in Article 1? What is the first piece of evidence in Article 2? and go down. What is another piece of evidence in Article 1? What is a piece of evidence in Article 2? And then lastly, what is another piece of evidence for Article 1 and another piece of evidence for Article 2? And that way you'll be able to compare and contrast the 3 different evidence for each article. And then task 2 is you're going to choose one of these articles and you're going to write a short paragraph response to the tone of the article. So what is the word choice that the author uses and what is their attitude towards NASA's space program? And you're going to submit that in 4.02. Okay. So if you want to save this, I would save it. Remember, I would save to the desktop if you want. You don't have to, but it's just easier to find when you're ready to submit. So we're going to close this out. And when you are finished with your compare and contrast and your response to tone and attitude, you're going to submit down in week 7, and you're going to submit it right here where it says assignment. Okay. And then the second part of this week is talking about spelling. So we're going to take a look at 4.03, and it's spelling rules. So at the end of this lesson, you will take a multiple choice quiz demonstrating your understanding of several spelling rules. And I think this would be a good review because we don't often get to focus in on spelling in class. So this is a great opportunity to have this built into this lesson. All right, so your objective would be to identify appropriate times to use formal versus informal writing, to demonstrate the ability to follow several spelling rules, to correctly add the suffix to words that end in Y, to correctly add ALLY rather than LY to create adverbs, and correctly place possessive apostrophes. So this is slide 3, and so it just gives you a little example. Priscilla works hard and solves a medical mystery. Her research leads to a discovery that could change the world. Proud and excited to share her amazing ideas with other scientists, she begins her final report by writing this sentence. I have new ideas to dramatically help families. Wow, there's a lot wrong with that sentence. But other scientists laugh and stop reading. Priscilla's writing may be fine for a text or a tweet on Twitter. The casual language and careless spelling is not appropriate for academic purposes. So they cannot take her seriously because of all her errors and her informal writing. So you're going to avoid the same mistake. Make sure you're taken seriously. Do not let casual or careless writing distract you from your amazing ideas. So we need to write more formally. Slide 4 is going to be talking about this text in shortcut language that you would use when you are, talking to someone, through a DM on Instagram, or if you're texting someone or you're Snapchatting. This is a kind of language that you may use, but it's not appropriate for academic purposes. So here are some things to remember. You're always going to capitalize I. You're always going to write out things. We're not using symbols. We're not abbreviating words. We're not using acronyms, BTW, by the way. You're actually going to write them out when you're writing papers for school. Slide 5 is just beware of spell check slip up. So just because spell check doesn't underline this word doesn't mean it's the correct word. So spell check did not catch an error in the sentence because board is spelled correctly. However, it is the wrong type of board. So you were bored, not bored. This type of board is a piece of wood. This type of board is when you feel like you have nothing to do and you just want to stare at a wall because you're entirely bored. So they use the wrong type of board. So you need to make sure that you're using the right words in the appropriate sentence. Here are some more spelling rules. Words that end in Y. So take a look at those. And ing words. Slide 17 is an interactive slide about those words that end in Y. So this is some good practice. Slide 8 is going to be a simple adverb trick, and it's going to talk about the endings in ly and when it's appropriate to use ally. So go ahead and read through this. Slide 9 talks about possessive apostrophes. So when someone owns something, you always put an apostrophe. So for an example, a hat worn by your mom is your mom's hat. So you put apostrophe S to show ownership that your mom owns this hat. And it's singular, okay? That one person or one thing owns it. Another example, a car owned by the waitress is the waitress's car. Notice that waitress ends in S, but we're going to head and add an apostrophe S because it's a singular ownership. Another example is Thomas. A car owned by Thomas is Thomas's car. It is a singular person, and so they get an apostrophe S, even though their names end in S. Now for the plural rule, that means it's more than one person or thing. So for an example, a home owned by your parents is your parents' home. Because it's more than one person, it's going to get the S and then the apostrophe. We don't put an apostrophe S. So if it's more than one person, it just ends in an apostrophe. Okay? Here's an incorrect and a correct example. Slide 10 is going to be an interactive slide to practice those possessive apostrophes. Slide 11 is going to be grammar rules that have exceptions. So remember, these rules don't always apply 100%. There's always going to be an exception. You're always going to capitalize I. There is no exceptions for that. Okay? And then look at the ending in Y and LY. Slide 12 is going to be some more rules. Read those. It's about when to add ED and when you change the Y to an I. So refresh yourself on that. Slide 13 is going to be your recap or your review. So don't forget these spelling rules. Okay. Remember, a consonant is the opposite of a vowel. So vowels are A-E-I-O-U. Consonant are all other letters in the alphabet that are not vowels. Okay. Slide 14 is going to be what is your assignment. So you're going to read the lesson, finish those interactive and practice slides, and then you're going to take the quiz. So if you're ready to take the quiz, you can go ahead and hit next. Other ways, you can go back and reach it through the modules. So the quiz is 4.03 spelling. Let's take a little look at this. So you want to turn each of the following words into an adverb. Which word would require you to add A-L-L-Y instead of L-Y? So which one of these words would you add the A-L-L-Y to? Which sentence uses correct grammar? So look at this. In which situation would shortcuts and text speak be the most appropriate? You want to add the suffix ed to the following words. Which word would require you to change the Y to an I? So which one would you change a Y to an I to when you add ed? This one, you're going to match the sentence to the correct word. This one is which statement is true about paragraph A? So you're going to have to read that. Question 7. Which statement is true about paragraph C? So here's paragraph C. And you're going to see if there is an error or if there are no errors. Question 8, same thing. What statement is true about paragraph B? Is there an error or no errors? And then you're going to submit. So there are 8 questions in this quiz. And of course, if you need any help, I can Zoom one-on-one. You just need to inbox me and ask. You can also inbox Miss Scott if you need help in the morning. Otherwise, I hope this helps you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.